Hey guys, Bricks and News here, and today I'm bringing you my review of set number 43225, the Little Mermaid Royal Clamshell. It's an 18 plus set with just a shave over 1800 pieces, retailing for 220 bucks Canadian, not to be confused with Disney's 1989 animated classic. This set is inspired by the upcoming live action version of the movie. So with that being said, this being Disney's big 100-year anniversary of the founding of the company, as well as the upcoming release of the film, LEGO has given us this monster clamshell and underwater themed set. Let's take a look and see if LEGO has pulled off something spectacular or what, shall we? The manual, which is quite meaty, as most of these big sets manuals are, has a bit of a write-up of the design team. It's normal for these special edition type sets. You also get a little backstory and a summary of the whole Little Mermaid story, and it's a nice keepsake, I think, for any fan of the film, Disney, or just LEGO enthusiasts in general. So onto the minifig. The set comes with 5, as well as 2 of the key support characters who accompany Ariel on her journey, which I feel need a mention here as well. The first minifig is none other than Ariel herself. The figure is very detailed, and the print that they use on the model has this reflective quality, this reflective paint. It really gives off this high-end vibe. LEGO has printed the torso, coloring the sides, and it gives her a more shapely figure. As you can see here, they color out the sides, so it shapes her actual body figure as opposed to the figure being the shape of the mold itself. So that's good. They have that on the front and back. The front of the tail is printed with the same reflective paint, and the bottom is flat, which makes sense. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to stand her up. So that was a good idea. I like that. The head is nice with the facial expression, both sides, and the hairpiece is really nicely done. Shows off the character in the film's red braided hair. And as I said with the Luke Skywalker model on the Emperor Throne Room set, I like this flat finish rather than the glossy finish that we typically get on the hairpieces. For me, I just feel it makes it look a bit more realistic in my opinion. The hairpiece also has these 2 holes, which I'm thinking would be used for any accessories that you may want to place on Ariel's head, like a crown or anything like that. So that's good. Overall, the minifig is definitely high quality here. I can't complain about that. Next, we have my favorite of the 5, King Triton. I love this one. The print on his torso and his arms is very impressive with the silver, metallic, and gold armor plate. It has a lot of detail you can see here, and as you see with the front and back, it's really nice. The arms also have this nice detail on the shoulder areas. The tail is printed on the front as with Ariel's. The shell symbol here, and then the head design. You can see, for me, the head was what really was impressive. So LEGO has this plain printed minifig head. It has, I should say, plain unprinted minifig head that you place on the torso, and then Triton's head model itself goes over it. So the head and the face is actually a specially molded piece with the face and the beard, its flowing mane, and the crown. It's really nice what LEGO has done here. And then to round off the fig, you get Triton's Triton, which looks good, with some detail along the shaft portion. So again, LEGO is really upping their minifig game with their recent sets. The next 2 minifigs are who I assume are the sisters of Ariel. You have the 2 mermaids. The figure shapes themselves are molded the same as Ariel, with the tails out to the left, one blue, one yellow. LEGO uses this reflective metallic paint finish again on both of them, and the designs are nice. They're very colorful. I like how they paint out the torsos like with Ariel, so it gives the mermaid the shapely figure for the body. Both have the facial expressions front and back, and the hair pieces again are nicely done, particularly the lilac colored hair piece, which I think looks unique and interesting. You put the 3 mermaids together and you can really see that LEGO is trying to convey this colorful, lively aesthetic with the design of the prints and them electing to use this reflective metallic paint. It looks really good. Now, to round off the minifigs, we have the big baddie herself, one of Disney's most iconic villains, Ursula. And as to not disappoint, like with the other 4 minifigs, she too is extremely well designed. The molding of her tentacles in particular are awesome. Lego gives us this clear brick as well, so we can easily place onto the bottom of her model. And they also added a bit of printing on the front to add a bit of flourish. And then the torso has some nicely printed front and back, and they added the necklace with the shell even that she uses to steal Ariel's voice, so that's really nice. The head has 2 expressions and it looks good, and the hairpiece is nice as well. I believe it's the same as the Cruella de Vil one that we get in the Disney's recent Blind Bag 100 series. So the torso, as you can see, it just fits down onto the tentacle bottom and it blends in nicely. You can barely even notice that it's 2 separate pieces, so it's really good how they done that. I really like the Ursula minifig as well. So overall, guys, these minifigs are really impressive. They're highly detailed, stylized, perfectly put together for the whole underwater fantasy aesthetic the Little Mermaid is famous for. Now, the special mention characters that I mentioned at the beginning there, we have Flounder and Sebastian. Fans of the original film will easily recognize these 2 as they are the main support characters for Ariel throughout the movie. Sebastian particularly, I mean, he steals every scene that he's in. He's always been my favorite character of that film. And Flounder looks good here. You can see obviously the live action version and not the animated one, but you can't mistake him for anything else. So it works. He definitely looks like a sergeant major here. You can't mistake who he is. And then we have Sebastian. And I know to some, myself included, it is a bit underwhelming, a bit disappointing because we don't get the cool looking animated version, but it's what's to be expected to have this generic looking crab model, as the live action version is just that. It's just a plain old crab. It's nothing special here. So, but for me, I think I'm more impressed with the fact that Lego even decided to add these 2, giving the overall set some character, because they didn't really have to, but they did. That alone earns Lego points in my book. It's not needed, but it is a welcomed addition. So now on to the model itself. Some aspects I love and some not so much. First, the parts I love. As you can see, it's just bursting with color. Pinks and greens, coral fans, and little features and details everywhere. On one side of the shell, you have the remains of the shipwreck with the hull and the mast, skeleton. It moves a bit. Lego allows you to move it around a bit, which is nice. And then you dive a little deeper and you discover the cavern that Ariel uses to store all of the little treasures that she's collected over the years, like the brush, the pot, the binoculars. You got the little fork there that she uses for the comb. So it's really cool how Lego's added all those little features in this set. It's really nice. And then on the other side of the shell, we have Ursula's cave, where she lures Ariel in to steal her voice. All of the little baubles that she has in the flask to store her potions and the dark magic. Both sides are nicely detailed. And then the top floor, we have the Triton's throne room with the throne and all of the coral and sea vegetation. It looks good. I also like the addition of the fish. As you can see, it really recreates this living underwater scene with schools of fish swimming about the palace. Overall, the interior portion of the shell is lovely, with nicely detailed areas. As you can see, some specially molded pieces. It really dials up the underwater vibe for sure. But now we have to move on to the not so good parts. For me, the actual clam shell itself. Personally, it's the low point of the model, especially when you contrast it to the interior. The bottom half is just plain white, and I think Lego should have perhaps added a bit more detail to smooth the section out. Perhaps a bit more coral or seaweed growth, and as you can see, there's no detail here at all. No different colored bricks to break it up. It's just a wall of white. And then you go to the top portion and it's a little better with the blue translucent pieces and the light blue, but I still don't think Lego has done quite enough to break up the white. And I'm not sure why Lego felt the need for having the clamshell to look so uniformed, considering the inner portion is just bursting with personality. And then the back. Dear God, when I first saw how this back was going to ultimately turn out, I was like, wow, we can't show that off to anyone. You know, do yourself a favor, put this on display with the back literally flush against a wall so that you or no one else is going to ever have to lay your eyes on that back. I don't like it at all. I mean, I get it. Lego starts designing the back, you know, with detail and the piece count, and by extension, the price point is just going to skyrocket. So I understand why they didn't put any pieces or design out, flesh out the back. But still, you can see that Lego does not intend on this thing to be seen from the back at all. And if they do, shame on them. I'm not sure if the rounded smooth pieces that we see here were intended to dress it up a bit, but that's a fail for me. That's a huge fail. So for me, the clamshell, I just feel underwhelming. And because so much of the build is made up of the clamshell, the build itself was not that fun. The interior portion was really cool. I loved going through the build and seeing how it kind of unfolded, you know, the Ariel story coming to life. And then you have the shell and I'm like, oh God, I need to build this thing. Yeah, that's how it felt. So overall, I love the interior portion of the model with the detailed caverns, the throne room. It really captures some key points of the story and helps you to relive those scenes. So overall, guys, it's a nice set. It's definitely a display piece with all of the fixtures to assist with putting the minifigs into posing positions. The minifigs are top-notch, each of them. And the addition of Flounder and Sebastian, I feel is a nice bonus touch from Lego. The model's interior is packed with nice details from the movie with the beautiful coral and the seaweed, the schools of fish, Ariel's cavern, Ursula's cave. The only downside, again, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but the downside is the shell. So would I recommend this set? Well, if you love Disney and you love the Little Mermaid films and you want to get your hands on these cool minifigs, you may need to break out the checkbook, I would say. Also, if you're really into displaying your sets and you think this would add a fun, colorful addition to your collection, I'd say get it. But if you're not really into display and more into play, I'd pass on it. I don't envision this to be too fun to sit and tinker with. You're going to have to spend time staring at that ugly back with nothing to do with it. Your $220 could probably be spent better elsewhere. Or at the very least, wait a year or so and then wait to see if this thing goes on sale. So to sum it up, Disney's Little Mermaid display collectors enthusiasts, build it, why not? For everyone else, pass it up or wait for a sale. And that's it, guys. My review of the 2023 Little Mermaid Clamshell set, released in May of this year to commemorate the live-action release of the classic Little Mermaid tale. That's a colorful set which pulls off the underwater theme nicely, but where it piled on detail with the interior, definitely cut some corners on the outer shell. Pun intended. Let me know down in the comments section what you guys think. Does the set make you want to stay under the sea, frolicking with Sebastian and the gang? Or would you rather sprout some legs and set off in search of better options? Let me know what you think. And until next time, keep building.